beautiful people, and happy 4th of July if you care and if you are watching on today, which is July 4th, 2026. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. You can also acknowledge my government name, since some of y'all do, which is Amina. We are here to go over The Chi. We are in the final season. This episode was titled Icebox. This was season 8, episode 7. We are going to get into it, discuss what happened in the episode. Feel free to jump into the conversation by leaving a comment. You are totally welcome to do so. I enjoy seeing the opinions of others. Also, if you could consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, it is an easy and very free way to support the channel. I am close to monetization. I have applied, so hopefully YouTube will accept me, but I appreciate the support of all of you. But y'all, let's get into the episode. If you are looking for other content creators as well that cover good shows, tap in with the links in the description of this video. There are links to other great creators such as Kiwan JTV, JB Says What, 5X, Shayna_MCD, and more. But let's get into this episode. We started out with Tiffany. We know that she is unalive Nuck. Nuck is gone. He's floating somewhere in the upper room. And Tiffany is having nightmares about this. It seems like this is a common thing, like from documentaries I've watched based on real life to like pretty much every show that I've watched where someone unalived someone for the first time. It seems like the guilt and the nightmares take over. Maybe it's a reminder that there's still some form of a moral compass that Tiff has, which I heavily question. But Tiffany wakes up from her nightmares. She's talking with Victor, who's currently working for her and protecting her. And she explains to him that, you know, she feel like she had to do what she had to do. And Tiffany irritated me because Tiffany gonna ask, why didn't you stop me? Girl, what you mean why he didn't stop you? You had him over there because you were hell-bent on confronting Nuck. You had a gun on you. Like, Victor told her what we was all thinking. You shot him before I could explain anything or get a word out, which is the truth. She shot him so fast. Now, I don't care for Tiff. She's not my favorite character on The Chi. Do I feel like she's pivotal to the show? Yes. Is she someone that I've respected on the show? No. I feel like she's kind of prioritized selling her weed over her husband when she was married to Emmett, over raising her kids when she had the baby before he went to her mama. Like, I don't know. Tiff moves weird. She's a very self-centered character in terms of her character's thinking. But she does talk to Victor a little bit and ask about his experience unaliving people. Because anytime someone is quick to hold her accountable or something, she's like, well, what about you? And Victor explained, like, yeah, he's done what he's had to do in terms of taking lives. But he says that whenever he has, it was pretty much, he equated it to like self-defense. He said, it's either them or me. In Tiff's situation, I kind of feel like it was similar, but we don't know because she popped him so fast before anything could be discussed. But pretty much Victor was trying to explain to Tiff, like, this is like, he says when he has unalived people, it's not an intentional anger. Like, he's defending himself. So next thing we know, this bitch decides that she wants to suggest pinning the death of Nuck onto Bakari, which pissed me off because he's younger. I thought Tiff was a little bit for the kids. I know Bakari's not a kid anymore, but I'm just like, why are you pinning Nuck's murder on Bakari? Because that's going to cause problems, especially since we know that Smitty and Nuck's crew is looking for whoever got him. I just find it odd that she would want to pin it on Bakari instead of herself. Like, it's just problematic, especially if there's no body, no case, no face, is what I thought. But I didn't like that. Victor asked Tiff, like, are you trying to be the new Alicia? Like, why would we do that? And she was like, I don't know. When she said, I don't know, I was like, y'all need to do Tiff the way you did Otis Perry a couple seasons ago. If y'all don't get rid of her, because it's one thing to do something for your baby daddy. That part I get. You loved Rob. He was taken from you. I understand that. But now you're doing all of this stuff and you just want to pin it on other people. I'm just feeling like she's becoming more problematic for the community than she is good. And I'm hoping somebody catch on to her because she's a terrible liar. She's a terrible liar, her character, Miss Tiff. But we're going to move forward. The next thing we see in the episode is Smitty. He is addressing Nuck or not Nuck, but he's addressing like the workers that Nuck had, the people that was in his crew, the little corner boys, all of those good things. And he's pretty much letting them know that Nuck said that if anything should happen to him, that he's in charge. I'm like, Negro, what? You just got here. Like, you just got here. I understand Smitty and Nuck have like a history that goes way back. But I also have the feeling like, you just got here. Why wouldn't he leave it to one of the guys? Like, you just got here. But he lets Nuck's crew know that they're going to be basically hurting for money for a little bit because he is not going to be using Tiff as a distributor no more. And he pretty much tells people that anybody who disagrees, he gonna off them. He will unalive them. I don't like Smitty. I'm sorry. I'm just going to take a minute to read Smitty for filth because he's a raggedy man, unattractive. Smitty, you couldn't even keep your female interested because she needed a man that had more. You got dumped for the nigga with the old Cadillac. Okay? And now you think you somebody because you're taking over for Nick, but you couldn't even keep your woman. You couldn't even keep your woman or figure out or be man enough to let her go and find another one that was more appreciative. Like, Smitty, please, you have bigger problems than Nuck being gone. But Smitty later pulls up on Reg and he asked Reg, did you kill Nuck? And I was laughing through the scene because I'm like, Reg and Smitty are kind of the same, except I think that Reg is a little more likable. I think Reg, in terms of making money, is a little less militant because he's telling Smitty that he did not off Nuck. He's telling him that if he did off Nuck, who cares? He would admit it. And then he's like, I ain't trying to have a problem with you, dude. You stay off my blocks and we ain't got no problem. I'm feeling like Smitty is going to be that person to overstep because he feel like he got a point to prove because he's so weak within himself with his own ego. But it's very rare that I side with Reg. But I am siding with Reg because I'm on his side. Like, I don't care about any of that. Reg said I ain't got nothing to do with that. You stay away from my corner and don't impact my ability to make money and I'll leave you alone. He's like, F the mob. I'm not mad at that. And hopefully this will show Smitty that Big Mike is not as scary as everybody thinks because he was like, I'll have Big Mike beat your ass. Like, no, I'm sorry. Reg was funny. He's like, you think I give a fuck about that Negro? Like, nobody cares. But moving forward, Tiffany and Victor, they have a talk with Bakari about taking the rap for Nuck being unalived. And I thought it was messed up because people are going to come after Bakari for this. But, you know, Bakari made this comment multiple times throughout the episode, which was important, not to get all deep. He said when Tiff and Victor were talking to him, he was like, they were like, you don't have a choice. And he was like, I always have a choice, which he does. We all always have a choice. Now, Bakari, I hope that you make the right choice, but just because you knew who offed Rob and did not tell Tiff does not make it okay for you to take the heat for something you did not do. Tiff is a raggedy, lazy woman who lacks accountability. And this is not just in what's happening here. Like, if we go back earlier seasons to when Emmett was trying to be a good man and do all of this, and Tiff wanted an open relationship and then got mad that Emmett got cool with other people. Like, Tiff is never accountable for how her actions impact her situation and others. And I just wish they didn't use Bakari for that. But honestly, Bakari's character has lived and lived and lived. So it does make sense to put him in some type of trouble. I'm just concerned. But I'm hoping he tells Keisha and leaves Chicago. I really hope he tells Keisha what happened and leaves Chicago. Keisha later is in a scene with Emmett and she lets Emmett know that Tiffany is going to be paying for their wedding. And I didn't like that because Tiff was having like a big opinion on their wedding. And I'm like, whoa, it's already enough for you to X planning the wedding after knowing that you offed your best friend's baby daddy, something that you understand how that feels. Then you want to pay for her wedding. Like, she'll probably always feel her wedding as attached to the person who offed him when she figures it out, because she will figure it out. But I still personally, not to go on a tangent or off subject, I think Keisha is stupid. Now, I know that we love Keisha. I love Keisha and Emmett together, but I'm sorry, Keisha is dumb. Keisha's been making choices that have irritated me. Like, no, I need to propose to him because I didn't accept, or, oh, no, this. And then I think it's a little weird. Like, I get that Nuck is the father of her child, but it's like the investment and finding him and hearing about him and hoping he's okay. It's like, girl, you got a new husband. Keisha seems to put everything before her man sometimes, and she irks me. I don't care how close I am with someone. You don't need to pay for my wedding if you used to be with my husband. Like, that's weird. But they're also letting Tiff have a say-so in the wedding, like in terms of the planning, the venue, where they would prefer for it to happen. And Emmett got a little annoyed because Tiff was like, I would prefer it happen at my house, like the engagement party. And Emmett was like, you just use that party to promote your strain of marriage, you know what, the Mary Jane. So Tiff is selfish. Like, everything she does, even if she makes it seem like she's being kind to other people, she's doing it so she can benefit in some way. Some could say that's the makings of a boss or a good businesswoman, but to me, she just looks like somebody disloyal and self-centered. That's how I feel. But I do hope Emmett puts his foot down and just goes to the courthouse, because it's just going to be more and more and more problematic. Now, Rashad is running around trying to figure out who offed Nora. He did figure out that Reg was paid by Rosalind to take out the hit. And I'm kind of still annoyed with Rashad, because I'm like, you're doing all of this for a woman who snitched on you about something you did not do. She lied on you and was willing to let you go away for the rest of your life. So her life being taken, I wouldn't care. But Rashad is a good guy for the most part. It seems like he just really be into the street of stuff ain't right. He is questioning Patience about whether or not she had people watching Nora. And Patience is like, yes, I have people watching Nora. But Rashad, what you have to understand is Patience is an attorney. Like, Patience don't work in the life of the streets. Okay, so she could have thought she had someone protecting them, but she's not thinking to go that extra mile for protection in the way that like a criminal or the police would. She's just not. But he is upset. He's talking to Patience, and she's kind of like, yeah, you're right on everything. But Rashad kind of figures out that Rosalind will not be held accountable for what she did to Nora unless there's definitive proof. And I feel like Rashad is not going to let this go. He's definitely going to keep trying to find ways to get the proof to take Rosalind down, because I still think it would make sense that they feel a way about what happened to Otis and whatnot. Now, Tiffany and Keisha later have a talk, and Keisha tells Tiff that she and Emmett have decided they kind of want to do their own thing at the wedding, so she disinvites her to the next wedding planning session. Because if you say you're going to pay for my wedding, then girl, write me the check and let me do everything. You don't need to be right there having an opinion on what I do, what color I wear, where the venue's at, what color flowers. Like, it's not your wedding. It's not your wedding. And it pissed me off because I felt like Tiff's character was manipulative with Keisha and was like, yeah, well, you know, especially since I don't have Rob for my wedding. And bitch, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. Plan you a little wedding for you and Rob in the afterlife or something. Like, we do not care at all. Tiff really just makes my teeth itch. But Keisha ends up, Tiffany did the most messed up thing she could do. And after she finds out about the wedding, she puts the bug in Keisha's ear that Bakari is the one who offed Nuck. So Keisha goes to talk to Bakari independently about Nuck, and Bakari does as he was told, and he does act as if he is the one that unalived Nuck. And Keisha's dumbass was like, well, you need to tell me where the body is. Oh, yeah, because I'm going to tell you where the body is. Like, girl, really? Why would he tell you where the body is? Like, I get it for the peace of her son, but realistically, in real life, why would somebody tell you that they offed your baby daddy and feel confident to tell you that and safe, like they're not going to end up in jail? 2, why would he tell you where the body is, whether he did it or didn't do it? 3, what you finna do once you know the body? Call the police so everything could get investigated and somebody goes to jail? Like, for somebody that was ripping and running through the streets of Chicago like Keisha was, is baffling to me that she lacks any form of street smart when it comes to the situation. I thought that was stupid. I don't know if the writers were not thinking or what. There are some people who are that naive also in real life, so maybe that's just Keisha doing that. But I'm like, girl, you was kidnapped, sat in that man's basement. You crying over Nuck and so upset over this, and you didn't even know that Nuck was your baby's daddy. Because before Keisha was kidnapped, she was fast sleeping with everybody with the pulse and a man part. So I'm just like, Keisha, please. Like, you can't expect him to tell you that. But I do understand why Keisha would feel sad and devastated, because it's like, dang, like, you, my baby daddy, my child's going to feel away. And I also feel like Keisha's character, the writers have been making us look into like the fact that there was some care that she had for Nuck and vice versa. You know, Nuck was always very gentle with her. So, you know, there is that. Now, Keisha, after talking to Bakari, goes and talks to Emmett. And she tells Emmett that because she learned that Bakari is the one that unalived Nuck, she didn't think to ask any questions. And that's what irked me, because Emmett was like, Bakari? And Keisha's like, we need to fire him. He cannot be around this family. So Bakari can't be around your family, but Nuck could. Murderous Nuck could be around your family, but Bakari could. Now, I get it. Bakari, in Keisha's mind, is a person who offed her baby daddy, but her baby daddy had offed multiple people's cared ones and loved ones. And I know Keisha doesn't know of like Rob, but Keisha does know of some other things that have happened. So I don't know. It's a tricky situation. Her and Emmett get into a little chat. Like, I feel like everything got to go your way when we're supposed to compromise. I agree with Emmett. That's something that annoys me with Keisha. She acts like she's the end all be all and like everything has to be her way. But in a relationship, it goes both ways. I also think before you ask to fire someone, maybe do like Emmett did and be like, that's not like Bakari. She just accepted what she heard and didn't ask no questions and then went home. Like, if you were really upset about Nut, wouldn't you go to the police to talk to them or any of that? Like, wouldn't you have done that? So it's just one of those things that is odd. But, you know, Emmett goes to speak with Victor about what happened. And Victor pretty much snitched on Tiff and was like, Bakari has to take the fall for the death of Nuck because he kept the secret of knowing that Nuck was the one who unalived Rob, which Bakari didn't even know it was Rob until he saw the body being dropped off at Alicia's house. And he did throw up. Like, it made him sick. He would never have gotten somebody that's close to him. So it's unfortunate, but I also think it just goes to show, like, Bakari's sister's been telling him to leave and he's been staying. And though he's still alive, it's like now people think that you have murdered somebody and it's a ripple effect. But Emmett, once he learns the information of who really did off Rob, he wants to tell Keisha because he's like, I want to look out for Bakari and all of this stuff. But Victor stops it because he says there'll be a bigger problem if he tells Keisha, because then Keisha and Tiff will beef. Who cares? Let Keisha and Tiff beef. Tiff don't do shit. She don't take care of her kids. She moves emotionally and makes erratic decisions, doesn't think stuff through. And she's not as good as a gangster or a hustler as they want to make it seem. Because if she was, she wouldn't have gotten to that BS with Rob. As quiet as it kept, her decisions helped contribute to Rob's death to a certain extent. I mean, no, we didn't expect Nuck to offer, but part of the reason Rob had beef with people was because of decisions that Tiff wanted to make. Like, Tiff is just a mess. She's a tornado. Everywhere her name go and things happen, it's just problematic. Like, and I know that they tried to make this message of like her mom left her alone and she became a mom and all of this, lonely, thinking she could keep Emmett. But what does that have to do with her wanting to sell weed illegally and be in the streets? Like, it's very weird. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know what they're doing with Jake's character. I'm annoyed, but because it was in the show, I'm going to mention it. Jake is going to throw a no phones party. You know, the parties like people over 30 like me used to have in high school and stuff, where we didn't have cell phones. We was just having fun interacting. I think it's nice because the younger generation, they are more reliant on phones. Like, you go to events now and people are just like on their phone or holding their phone recording versus enjoying the moment. Like, I do notice that. I like that the writers wrote this in, but I don't care about the no phones party, and I need them to find a way to make it connect. Because right now it's feeling like Jake is like Papa was in the season prior, where we were kind of like, what are they doing with Papa's character, aside from people close to Papa passing? But I don't know. I just don't. Maybe it's because I've watched The Chi since season 1, but without Kevin, I just am less invested in Jake and Papa and Lene's little storyline. Especially Papa, no shade, but just not invested. I hope they figure out what they're going to do with these kids. I'm wondering if this season will be more than 10 episodes, because this is already episode 7, but I guess we shall see, and I'm gonna be patient. Now, Bakari goes and meets with his sister again, and he lets her know that he's dealing with a lot, had to take the fall for somebody being unalive. And the sister is like, this is why you need to come with me to Atlanta. Now, I don't know if Atlanta is exactly the best place to go. But I do agree with Bakari's sister that he should leave. Like, and if being penned for unaliving someone that you did not unalive by someone from your hood and your block who you thought you was cool with don't show you that the streets don't love you. What's that song? I know the streets don't love me. This is a California rapper that did a song called We Live in Hopeless, and he just kept repeating, I know the streets don't love me. They don't. They really don't. Like, Bakari, your sister's asking you to leave. They're pitting you for something you did not do. Why would you stay? But Bakari tells his sister he wants to stay. My apologies, y'all. If I don't have coffee, I'm no good. And I'm already a mess. So I need to be as good as I can. But I don't know. I just want Bakari to make better choices. I'm happy his sister is trying to kind of guide him to do it. But it's so frustrating when younger people don't listen. I'm like, is this how my mama and my daddy felt with me when I was young? And they're like, no, don't do this. And I was like, well, I'm going to do it. Because I'm just looking at Bakari like, please, brother man, please. I even called you Bakari this whole review. I usually accidentally slip up and call him Bacardi. Okay? But Lord. I hope he makes the right choice. That's the character I'm like most nervous about is Bakari. The ones I'm most excited about seeing how things end for, Tiff is definitely one of them. But Rashad goes to, not Rashad, I'm so sorry. Victor, aka Trig, goes to see Fatima's bitch ass. Now, I am sorry. Shout out to Kevin Reynolds. He's one of my subscribers, has become a friend of mine. Me and Kevin Reynolds, in the words of Nene Leakes, we see each other. We see each other. I can't stand Fatima. I feel like Amani was the better person to be with Trig. I cannot say this enough. Fatima plays games in ways that irritate me, and I don't understand the point. Fatima goes to see Victor, or Victor goes to see her, and they have a talk. She's like, oh, well, now that you see me, you can leave. Because he's like, I wanted to see you. She's like, okay, well, now you have, go. Girl, you went and visited this man in jail, which resulted in him almost getting his ass whooped. Okay? Victor was actually trying to do something positive for the community and be a community council member and get into politics, and that bitch fought it. Now Victor has a lot more stuff going on, just got out of jail, and the only thing Fatima cares about is why he's with Tiff so much and says that he doesn't really want to see her. She also pissed me off because she said that she wants to be more important to Victor than the city of Chicago, his friends, his family, the neighborhood, his ability to breathe, his ability to walk. Like, she just wants to be put above all. And I hate people who move like this, because why do you expect him to put you first when you can't do the same for him? And then if we go back seasons in The Chi, when he was trying to get with her, she really wasn't even trying to give him no motion like that. So I don't understand why Fatima does this. I just want to say, I know it's the last season, so this won't be a thing and they won't be coming back. I don't care that Fatima is trans. I don't care about that. I don't care that Imani was. Why are you pushing somebody on him that none of the audience seems to receive well? Like, Fatima annoys me. She goes and talks with her sister mom or whatever it was, and she just complains more. And I'm just like, why is she on the show? Why is this character here? Why does Victor's character have to have a love interest? Why can't he just be wrapped up in this drama with Tiff right now? That's enough for me. I don't need you to add a love interest that I don't care about. She doesn't connect with any of the characters on the show. She doesn't seem to involve or talk to Emmett. She don't talk to Lene. She don't talk to Riley. She don't talk to Angie. She doesn't talk to any of the other people on the show to connect with characters outside of Victor. Why is she here? I just don't know. And if we are going to have a love interest for Victor, make it anyone else other than Fatima. Bring back Imani if you got to. I don't care, but I just don't like her character. She make my teeth itch. So that's my rant. That's my TED talk. But I know some people may love Fatima, and that's totally fine, but I just don't feel like she coincided with the show. It felt like a filler whenever she comes on the screen, and I just don't care for it. But Fatima's pretty. I'll give her that. Pretty woman. So Emmett goes up to Smokey's and he sees Bacardi, pulls him in the freezer like it's not already winter in Chicago, but I digress. And he tells Bacardi, I know you did not unalive Nuck, but you fired because of what happened with Keisha. Bacardi just kind of accepted it, and him getting fired worries me because him working was really one of the few things keeping him off the street. And he still has that deal with Reg, but we will see what happens with that. Now, because Bakari was fired, Emmett made the decision to hire Keith back. For those who don't know, Keith is somebody who was also did time. Keith used to work with Reg until Reg took his girl. And Keith is also the person who Damien got into it with and caused, I guess, Damien's gambling played a big role in Keith's criminal history. So there is that. Keith is talking to the girl that he dates who's working for Nuck. And it seems like Keith wants to get out of that life and get out the streets. But his girl ends up going to talk to Reg because she's like, I don't want to work for you no more because my man is here. I don't want to be getting in trouble. And I'm just like, really? Your man just begged you to get out of work with Reg and then you're doing all of this. But Reg, he was like, he needed the money. He tried to convince her to stay, offered her more money, but she still walked away. And it looks like Reg connects the fact that Keith is the problem. I don't understand who wrote this in, but it kind of irritated me. Reg's character was like, you light-skinned bitches always do what your man say. Who wrote that? We have enough colorism in our community. I felt like that was a negative dig towards just Black women in general. Light-skinned or dark-skinned, your bitch will follow what you say if you present yourself like a leader. Men, just a little heads up, men. That's how it works. I don't think skin complexion has anything to do with whether people listen or not, but I digress. Reg later goes by Tiff's house. And it was funny because Trig was the security there. And he's like, she ain't available right now. And then Tiff came and undermined him and was like, yeah, he could come in. I said, Victor, if that don't show you to get away from this bitch, I don't know what else will. She's not loyal to nobody. She's loyal to the money. But I do call bullshit on Tiff because what Reg ended up wanting to talk to Tiff about was the possibility of doing business because he needs to find ways to make money. Now, this works out because Smitty and them are not going to be dealing Tiff's stuff no more. I'm not sure if she's aware of it. So Reg coming in does kind of benefit her. However, Tiff knows that Reg tried to unalive Rob. Reg took a shot at Rob, and she knows that. So you could off the guy who killed your baby daddy, make somebody innocent take the rap, and then you're going to work for Reg? What? Like, what are you doing, Tiff? If that's the case, why the fuck is Bakari going? Lord, why the fuck is Bakari going through all of this? Like, I just did not like that. Didn't feel like it made sense. Other things that happened in the episode, because Tiff and Reg did agree to do business together, which I think is going to be problematic as hell, because neither of them think too good. Emmett's manager, Shawnita, this is the woman that has been managing his shop, fresh out of jail. Her sister is Angie, who's played by Kyla Pratt. She wants to have her sister help to open Emmett's second location because he wants to franchise his restaurants to make more money. Now, the way that Shawnita described Angie was like as a chick that's always around chasing dick. So I'm curious how that will work with her as a restaurant manager. She probably going to be sleeping with the staff, but we shall see. Now, Rashad ends up telling Victor about Reg being hired to kill Rosalind. And Rashad encourages Victor to talk to his brother because he says his brothers just want to have a relationship. Victor is not interested in it, but I do like how they showed the brotherhood of friendship in the Black community amongst the men. I think it's so important for Black men to have friends that they can actually count on. And if they don't have friends, let it be a male family member, somebody Black who's a good influence, who's a man. But Rashad checked on Victor and was like, are you okay? Are you all right? And you know, Victor is not saying too much yet, but I do feel like he will eventually tell Rashad all that is going on. Because Rashad, one thing you could say about him, he loyal. He loyal and he's about the right thing, regardless of what. Now, Darnell and Riley had a moment. That's Emmett's dad and his woman. I don't feel like it's worthwhile discussing on this review, but I'd love to open up the conversation in the comments for how you guys felt about the scene with Darnell and Riley. A lot of love between them. I'm happy he found love. It's just still weird that Jada hasn't been in the ground for like 7 full days. And he's moved on so fast in such a deep relationship. But I'm happy Emmett's dad got it together. But where are the rest of his kids? We know Damien's in rehab, but where are the rest of Emmett's siblings? Remember his dad had hella different women and hella different kids? Where are the others? Maybe we'll see them at the wedding. Now, the episode ends with the African-American cop. I'm so sorry. I can never remember this lady's name. But this is the cop that was looking into things a season ago. The one who has a child of her own that was in jail that ended up getting unalived. She and her perfectly twisted dreadlocks knocked on the door of Bakari's home. And this reminded me, because she knocked on the door and said, "Where's Nuck?" And this is where I was reminded, not only was Nuck a gentleman who has unalived multiple people in the neighborhood, but Nuck was a snitch working with the police. And now the police are at Bakari's door. And I am sure this OG cop is at his door because she done heard around that Bakari is the one taking the fall. But this cop has good discernment. She wasn't like the cop season 1. This cop has good discernment. And I feel like she may be able to figure out that Bakari was not the one to unalive Nuck. But that's going to be difficult for Tiff to have to deal with. We will get more answers next week. I do feel like they're doing a great job with the season. I am enjoying every episode thoroughly. I appreciate the support of those who have been watching my reviews. I am trying to focus more on scripted TV and documentaries for my reviews. So if you have a show that you would like to suggest that I cover, please let me know. I do cover Raising Kanan as well. Please check out that review. In addition to Raising Kanan, I will be covering Snowfall Saga, The Drop, that is coming out in September. And P-Valley is going to be returning this year. So once P-Valley has returned, I will also be covering P-Valley. But if there's any scripted shows you guys want to see me cover or limited series, feel free to let me know. I do appreciate and love all of y'all. You are helping my channel to grow and keep going. Let me know how y'all felt about the episode in the comments. But other than that, I will see you guys next week for the next review. Enjoy your 4th of July. Adios.